Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to do something else. I wanted to share a quick tip that will give you pair programming superpowers. Maybe a quick introduction to pair programming first. Pair programming is when you're working together on some code with someone else, and there's two roles in a pair programming session. The first role is reserved for the person at the keyboard doing the actual typing, and they're called the driver or the typist, something like that. And the second role is for the other partner that is doing the thinking, is thinking of next steps, alternatives maybe even. And they're called the navigator. And typically the navigator is thinking at a somewhat higher level of abstraction than the typist, because their mind is not busy with syntax and getting keys pressed on a keyboard. And the tip I wanted to share today is specifically to become a better navigator. Now, what makes a good pair programming session, or what makes a good navigator? That is clear and efficient communication. So this tip will make you communicate more clearly and more efficiently as a navigator. I'm going to quickly shout out the name of the rule. The rule is called intention, location, detail. So 3 words in that specific order. And we'll go into details in just a second. But first I wanted to share where I learned about this rule or this heuristic, and it's the book called Technical Agile Coaching with the Saman Method by Emily Beige. She's a great technical coach. She even coaches other technical coaches. She has a whole community about it, so definitely take a look at Saman coaching if you're interested in that kind of stuff. But back to the rule: intention, location, detail. So it's 3 words in a specific order, and it's the order in what level of detail I try to communicate as a navigator. So the first word, intention, that's the first thing you try when you're trying to communicate. You just try to express the intention of what should happen. You try to express intent. So let's give an example. Let's say we're working on a file, a code base, and there's a whole lot of logic in there, but somewhere in between of all those lines of code, there's a couple of lines that perform credit card validation. And we want to start reusing that logic. So we want to extract this logic into its own method so we can reuse it in other parts. So if I were a navigator in this scenario and I wanted to communicate, hey, let's extract this method, that's exactly what I would say. So word number 1, intention, I would say, maybe we can extract this credit card validation logic into its own function so we can reuse it. And that's where I would stop. And if my typist, my driver, the other person in the pair, has enough experience and knows the code base well and knows the shortcuts, stuff like that, that is typically enough to get started and get going. But maybe the person is new in the team, or they don't know the IDE that well, or they just left school and have never programmed in a professional setting before. That might not be enough. So that might not be concrete enough to help them get started. So that's when I drop to the second word of this rule, called location. And location is literally pointing. I am pointing at lines of code. So I am literally saying in this example, the credit card validation logic that's there in this file on line 30 to 35. And again, hopefully that's enough so they recognize, oh yeah, that it's these lines of code, let's just extract them and they're gone. But maybe they need more concrete guidance. And that's where word number 3 comes into play, which is called details. And details is the step in the communication where you really explain almost keystroke by keystroke what could happen or what should happen. So in this example, you could say, yeah, select lines 30 to 35 and then press Ctrl-R, Ctrl-M to do the extract method refactoring. Now let's give it a name, stuff like that. So again, intention first. If that does not work, location, so point at the code. And if that's not enough, number 3, details, to go into concrete ideas. This helps you stay on the correct level of abstraction. You don't lose time with syntax issues if your pair knows them. So it's a great heuristic to keep in mind while you're navigating in a pairing session. So that's the rule: intention, location, details. I suggest you try it out in your next pairing session, and please let me know how it worked out. See you next time with another quick tip. Bye-bye.